Well, shit. The car's doing that weird thing that I was trying to describe where it doesn't start. And I'm really pressed for time. And then it just started right up. So that was a little unnerving, but problem kind of fixed itself. Shut up, car, damn. So, I only had one pitcher of beer. I finished that like an hour and a half ago, so I'm golden. And it sucks too, because like I was just really on point with my singing tonight. Well, except for my last song. My last song was fair to mostly terrible. Priscilla asked me to do it, and it was like, okay, I haven't done it in a long time. But yeah, it wasn't good. And the fucked up thing is, I've done that song and done it well. But I did the Carpenters Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft, which is kind of an obscure song. And if you're familiar with the music of the Carpenters, this sounds, generally speaking, nothing like anything else the Carpenters ever did. I'm not sure if it was their last album or if it was like their next to last album, but the Carpenters have an album that was very unsuccessful called Passage, where they were successful enough that A&M Records pretty much let them break away from what had been their successful formula, which gave them hit after hit after hit, and try something different. And it wasn't commercially successful, but it's a really freaking interesting and amazing album. I only have it on 8-track, but it's got... ouch. The whole album is decent, but the most notable things on it is that it has like a whole segment from Evita. And mind you, I mean, this is decades before Madonna did Evita. And this wasn't for any, this was never from a theatrical performance or anything. Just, I guess Karen Carpenter wanted to do a musical, do a segment from a musical. She did the whole thing from Evita, and it's really good. It's Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, and the stuff that leads in and out of it from the musical. It's like a whole segment. It's pretty cool. And I had no idea, like I never heard that until a few years ago. I had no idea that the Carpenters had done Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. So, all right, we got an SUV rolling without its headlights on. I never have to go very far to see somebody driving with their freaking headlights on. But by far the highlight of that album, and it was a single, and it has a really amazing video, by the way, and this is from a time period before music videos were really a thing, is a cover of Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft, which is a song originally by a band called Plateau, which didn't really do much after their first album, but their first album got a lot of hype because people thought it was the Beatles reuniting under another name to try to keep it secret. Because the first, well, I don't even know if they had a second album, but the Plateau album is really good, by the way. But it sounds very much like the Beatles kind of going in a sort of prog direction. And somehow the Carpenters covered it and made it even weirder and even better. And their version is it's really weird. I mean, just the thought of the Carpenters doing something that could be looked upon as progressive rock is kind of a mind-bending thing, but I'll try to remember to put a link in the description because I think it's really cool and very unique. And I've sang it well before, but it's just been so long, and it's got a bunch of really weird tempo changes. And obviously my voice is nothing like Karen Carpenter's, so I gotta kind of figure out where I'm going with it. I know there's a couple of parts I sang in a falsetto that I probably should have went somewhere else with it. Owned it on the chorus though, that's what matters. But yeah, the 2 songs I sang earlier were much better, and I'll be back to explain more about that as soon as I go change clothes. I'm still in my Domino shirt with my Domino's hat on. Let's see. I got the Amazon vest, which is pretty. Yeah, that's the one I used. Got a bottle of tea I bought today. I think I'm just gonna leave that in the car, as that'll come in handy at work tonight. Bring the tapes that Tim gave me inside. I got my little speaker in here. What's playing? Oh, it's playing Tool. Nice. Anyway, I'll be back. Oh, damn. I was in my apartment, kind of taking a little bit of a breather, and for some reason I thought I had more time to get to HelloFresh. I don't know, for some reason, for a moment there, I was thinking I didn't have to be there until 12:30, and I don't know where I got that from. I think it's because I was talking about how I used to work the second half, every now and then, as a VET shift. I'd work a second half of the night shift over at Amazon, and now that started at 12:30, but like looking at the time and like, oh, I started at 12:05. And it hit me that it's it's now 11:45. I got 20 minutes to get there, and that's due to that weird start time of 12:05 as opposed to the usual midnight. So yikes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think I can be there in 20 minutes, but that doesn't give me any time to stop anywhere or get any kind of food, which is fine. I'm not starving. Did I mention I got some pasta? Like, there was an extra thing of pasta at Domino's? I think I did. I was hoping I'd get some of that pizza that was for Juan that I didn't give to Juan because I got confused. But I don't know what happened to that pizza. Like, when it was made and I realized the mistake, Samantha said to go ahead and to put that in the warmer in case Juan comes back and is like, hey, why doesn't this pizza have sausage on it? But no, we never heard back from Juan. My guess is there were probably kids involved, since there were 3 pizzas, and the kids probably saw the pepperoni pizza and didn't give a shit and just ate it. I do feel a little guilty though, because I mean, he paid for pepperoni and sausage and just got pepperoni. But yeah, you know, mistakes happen. It's not like I did that shit intentionally. And I'll certainly be a little more careful. You know, and the thing was, like, after that happened, I was a lot less eager to try to help out with the ovens. I mean, I found myself waiting because the pizza that I sent with Juan was the one I needed for my delivery, so of course my delivery went out late. And that was probably my, you know, for the most part, I really love delivering pizza for Domino's. I do, but the tipping thing, so much of my income is based on tips, and the tipping thing is all over the board. It's not nearly as consistent as it was when I was delivering pizza back in the early 1990s. It's shocking how many people don't tip at all. I mean, it used to be just kind of a thing, like everybody give me a dollar or two, regardless of how big the order was. And it's just like, whatever. Every time I drive out, I'm gonna a buck or two. And I never really worried about it. It was okay. But it is kind of funny how, generally speaking, people expect tips to be based on a percentage bring orders out for Domino's and deliver them, they can be in one of three ways. It can be a cash order, in which case I have to collect the cash, and I have to have the ability to make change for it, which is kind of shitty. Like they don't let me roll out with a bank. That's got to come out of my pocket, and then they collect it at the end of the night. So God knows what happens if I show up and somebody doesn't have the money to pay for their pizza. I haven't had that happen yet. It hasn't been explained to me what happens, though. Just, knock on plastic and hope it doesn't happen to me. But I'm sure eventually it will. Wow, I just realized I'm shooting video on my iPhone. I am totally shooting video on my iPhone. It's the first time I've shot video on anything other than Obamaphone 3 in a while. So hopefully this doesn't become a lost vlog when I go to upload it. Because I'm generally just going in sequential order because I'm so far behind posting these. I'm just going in sequential order on the stuff on the micro SD card with the Obamaphone 3. So yeah, I had one today. Oh, so basically three different things. There's cash, in which case I'm responsible for whatever the amount of the total was, and anything that they give me above and beyond that, that's my tip. I also get a mileage reimbursement. Damn if I can remember how much it is per mile. Although I do think it's based on like a calculated estimation of mileage between, like computer calculated estimation of mileage between the store and the destination times 2. So if I choose to take a longer route because I know it's going to be a quicker route, that's on me. I don't get paid for the extra mileage, which is fine. There doesn't seem to be any issue with me, at least not that I've noticed, with me taking a longer route to get someplace quicker. Because ultimately my time is my time. The more runs I do, the more runs I get, potentially the more tips I get. So that's how the cash stuff is handled. And then there's two ways of credit card stuff to be done. Now when they order online or through the app, or I think they can even do it through the phone, and they pay with a credit card, they can put a tip on it when they order. I like those. Now granted, tips are kind of supposed to be based on how good service is, so that's kind of a leap of faith. They have no way of knowing how quickly it's going to show up or how courteous the driver is going to be and so on and so forth. They're just throwing it out there. But I like it as a driver because I know I'm getting it. I know what I'm getting. And frankly, I don't even care when I look at it if it's like $1 and change or if it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. I get pretty excited when I look and I see it's $20. I had one of those the other day. Now, of course, the downside on those is there's no question of how much it was. Like that's being recorded into my pay stubs. And taxes are coming out of it, and so on and so forth. Which whatever. I'm getting a push-through message from Wonolo. You need to be here. You need to be clocking in. For some reason I was thinking it was earlier, and I was thinking I had a little bit more hang time and time to get dressed and maybe check a couple of things on the phone, and then when I looked at the time it just hit me. It's like, oh fuck, I have just over 15 minutes to make it to Glendale over near State Farm Stadium where the Cardinals play. Damn, that's far. I'm still not going gotta drive like a maniac. Still tripping on how viral a video has gone. Just the short of the guy speeding on Loop 303, and how overwhelmingly negative the comments are. It's just like, whatever. And it's funny too, because like one of the most common comments is, "Oh, you must not be from Arizona, or you must have never been to Arizona before." Like, and I think I should start responding to those of, "You must have never watched any of my other videos before." Because seriously, anybody who like leaving the comment, "Oh, you've never been to Arizona before" on that video, it's like, yeah, tell me you've never watched any of my other videos without telling me you've never watched any of my other videos. My shit is so Arizona. Over 50 years in this overly hot, godforsaken desert. But yeah, one of the comments that shows up occasionally is, "Well, maybe he's late for work." Yeah, not a justification for criminal speeding. You're late for work, be late for work. You need to leave earlier next time. I should have left earlier. I had just got distracted talking to people coming out of Wander Inn. My friend Corey showed up. That was unexpected. He got the night off, didn't expect to have the night off, went to Royale Lounge hoping I would be doing karaoke there because he hadn't got the memo that was a 2-week only thing. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be a 2-week only thing. I thought it would be more, but yeah, walking in the second week and having Joyce just yell at me over the phone the way she did. Let's not forget it wasn't really paying enough to be worth my while. I mean, it was enough I did it, so I guess I can't say it wasn't enough to be worth my while, but definitely paying me less than I make for the same amount of hours of work at Domino's on a Saturday night. Or at pretty much any gig that I might pull off Wonolo on a Saturday night. And it wasn't about the money, honestly. I mean, the money's a factor, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't about the money as much as it was about just... And maybe there wasn't miscommunication, but the way she handled it was just so rude and upsetting, I thought. And I was like, well, have you heard anything today? I said, all the feedback I've got was really positive. It's just like, oh yeah, no, I've heard good things, but I'm going to go there tonight. I want to make that decision for myself. I'm like, okay. Well, she made a promise she was going to be there, that night. And which wouldn't have been, that would have been 2 weeks ago. Now, 2 weeks ago is it today? So my iPhone cut me off. I legitimately like recording with Obamaphone 3, which is a T-Mobile Revel 4, more than I like recording with the iPhone. Kind of surprised that I'm saying that, but I'm just really happy with the way this thing records video. Yeah, I got cut off. I had the 20% battery warning pop up. And then when I ended that, it stopped recording, and I tried to hit the record button to get it recording again, and it just wouldn't go. I don't know what the deal is. But hey, there's always space on Obamaphone 3 until it runs out of space. I don't know how close I am. I haven't even been paying attention. So, damn, what time is it? Ooh, there's a car parked on the side of the road with no lights on. That's not a good sign. 11:58. I believe per policy I have either a 5-minute punch window or a 10-minute punch window. It's looking pretty doubtful that I'm going to make it by 12:05 since it's 11:59 right now. I love how I'm doing 75 and DPS just flies right by me. That's one of the other comments I'm getting on the Loop 303 one. It's like, well, you're speeding too. You said you're doing 75. The speed limit is 65. Yes, I said that. I said I'm doing 75 and a 65, which is not criminal speeding. That's civil speeding, which could be justified if you can convince the judge that it was reasonable and prudent. And video showing that the other couple of vehicles that were on the road were doing the exact same speed and the road was otherwise empty, pretty much shows that it was reasonable and prudent. But yeah, just now, DPSs drove right by me, and they weren't going a whole lot faster than me, not like the SUV was. That guy flew by me. It was definitely more than 20 over the limit. That's where it changes. And nobody's convincing a judge that 20 over the limit is reasonable and prudent. 20 over the limit is criminal speeding. I don't think there's any statutory justifications for it. Anyway, yeah, I'm probably not going to make it there in the next 5 minutes, but I'm pretty sure I'll make it there within the next 10 minutes. So anyway, I was saying before the iPhone cut me off that I felt Joyce was exceptionally rude to me on my second week. Like, I thought it was really weird that she said, well, I just only met one night. Like, it seems such a weird thing. And then she was like, well, you're here, go ahead and set up. But then we're discussing it, and I remember her saying, well, I'm going to be there. I'll make the judgment on how good you're doing. I'm like, okay. She gave me her word she was going to be there. And she never did show up. So, as far as I'm concerned, Joyce stood me up that night. I was expecting her to be there and see exactly what it was I was doing and how much her crowd there at the Royale Lounge was into it and was digging it. And she never showed up. And granted, my plan was to call her the next day before I went to pick up my stuff. Which reminds me, I still got 2 cables there. I've got a very long XLR cable, which I'm definitely getting back. A short XLR cable, which is attached to it, which, yeah, of course I'm getting that back too. Not that one's worth much. And I forget how long, not like a really long, but not a particularly short one either, HDMI cable. I kind of forgot about those. I'll start talking about it right now. But yeah, I need to definitely go get those back. I was expecting by now I would have heard from Joyce, and I haven't. I don't believe I told her I would call her. But she kind of made it, she did sort of say, well, you need to call me on the boss. Yeah, we've already got an arrangement. If you expect me to call you every fucking week and play phone tag with you, I ain't got time for that. Even if you were paying me what I should be getting paid for that gig, I ain't got time for that. Certainly ain't got time for that for $100 a night when I'm not even getting a discount on my drinks. But I guess I didn't let Corey know I wasn't going to be there, and he showed up and was shocked to see I wasn't there. So he came over to wander in. I didn't get to really hang out with much, but yeah, I was kind of talking to him, and I lost track of time. Talking to a couple other people, and then as I was heading out, Kimmy was like, hey, you're not forgetting those tapes you're not forgetting those cassette tapes that Tim gave you. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I totally am. And then I walked back in, and somebody else said something to me. Yeah, I lost track of time. It happens sometimes. Not a legitimate reason for being late. Let's see what the time says right now. Oh, it says 12:04. Yeah, I'm definitely going to clock in within my 5-minute window. So I'm all good. There should be no penalties through Wonolo. And I expect, whether it's Ruthie or whether it's the other guy, that whoever's in charge here at HelloFresh will be very happy to see me. And the other guy was trying to talk me into getting on there as an employee through a staffing agency, and trying to get working there regularly, as opposed to Wonolo, because Wonolo's staff of last resort for pretty much whoever uses them. And I'm just like, nah, this is a little too far from home for me to want to commit to it on the regular. So I'll do it when it works out with other stuff. And I think I had already started with the rental car agency at that point in time too. So, or not rental car agency, but the contractor, the MLS staffing contractor for. Wow. That guy's hauling ass. I'm doing just shy of 50, and I'm pretty sure this is a 45. And he flies by me and turns left with no turn signal. 12:05 right now. That's all right. I'm practically there. So the other two songs that I sang, which went over well, the first one I did, actually, it was okay. There was a bigger girl who's kind of pretty for her size. That was hanging out with old friend of mine. Older gal used to come damn near every night when I hosted at the Ox. A friend of hers, at least she was hanging out with her. She's like, "Oh yeah, Dan can sing anything," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can sing anything. What you want me to sing you?" Yeah, if Priscilla was there, I think this chick would have been like maybe down to hang out after hours, because she was kind of flirting with me, and I was all about it until Priscilla showed up. But yeah, she's like, "Oh, anything from Kenny Chesney. I love Kenny Chesney." So I was looking at his singles discography, and the first one that popped up that I felt like I was familiar enough. I don't dislike Kenny Chesney, but I'm not a Kenny Chesney fan. And the first one that I saw, looking through his singles discography on Wikipedia, it was like, yeah, I know that I have to sing it, was She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy, which I think I did all right with it. I know my timing and pitch was a little off here and there, but I don't know, the crowd went nuts with it, so obviously I did okay with it. The second one I did was something I've been hearing lately popping up on my forklift speaker, which I've been listening to while working, and that was I Am Mine by Pearl Jam, which is straight up one of my not one of their bigger hits or anything, but one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs, especially for being later in the career. That one is just one I really just feel personally when I hear it. Anyway, I would love to sit and talk to myself and think that people listen to it on YouTube, but I got to get my ass in there. I'm a little bit late.